All right, let's talk about Newsmax, stock symbol NMAX, the hottest IPO on the market. It went up 700% today, and a lot of traders are dogpiling into this. I'm not even sure why they're doing it, but the IPO was at $10. It opened up at $14, and it went all the way up to $82.25. It was a wild ride for the stock, and one of the things that I would tell you when it comes to IPOs, don't buy them. The history behind IPOs is that they're overrated, they're overhyped, and ultimately they come back down to earth and go much lower than their IPO price. So in this video, what I want you to do, and I've done this before in other videos, I'm going to go through a lot of different charts just to show you some of the most hyped IPOs and what they ultimately did in the days that followed their IPO. Let's go ahead and get to that right now. Now, there's not a lot of analysis that we can do on NMAX. Simply because we only have a 1 minute chart, and it's been halted time and time again throughout the course of today's trading. So there's not a lot to work with here. It closed at the highs of the day. There was a ton of FOMO, but ultimately I would not trust this chart to continue this momentum going forward. So don't take my word for it. Just look at some of the other most hyped up IPO that just recently came out. CRW, yeah, it had an initial day where it popped from about $39 where it opened up to 42. Now it's trading at 37. You look at it from a 5 minute chart, it's just been heavy selling. All those people, they initially bought in and then they had the rug pulled on them. But don't have to just look at CRWV. We can also look at DJT, another one that has a little bit of a similar profile to Newsmax. And this stock here also had a huge breakout initially, going all the way to 170, and now it's trading at $19. But even that initial pop saw a huge drop shortly thereafter, where it was trading down into the 30s just weeks later. Look at PLTR. This is another crowd favorite of late. Did it do really good right out of the gate? No, but it actually had more success than most of them. But even still, was it necessary to get long on it right out of the gate? Absolutely not. Let's zoom in here on this chart. You had about 4 weeks. Remember, this is a daily chart. You had about 4 days where it continued to drift lower, and then it went sideways for a little while, and then it did pop for a few months there. But ultimately, what did it do? It came right back down to earth again. So that's why I'm trying to say, you get an initial pop in PLTR that goes from 45 and you come right back down to $6 a share. It doesn't make sense trying to get in on day one. It makes more sense to wait 3 to 6 months before considering an IPO to get long on. What about another one that the crowd loved? Hood. Initially, they loved it. But man, is there anything worse than seeing this thing go from about $35 where it opened up at? Actually, it opened up around 38. It goes as high as $85 a share. And then it comes crashing down into the sixes. Now, this was actually a trade that I wanted to get in on, but I wasn't going to buy the IPO. I waited for a while for it to come back down. I ended up getting a great entry price at $9 and have since sold a large chunk of that position for over 300% in gains. So a stock like HOOD, overly hyped, it also came way back down to earth. Let's go old school here so that you just don't think that what I'm talking about is just something that's happened recently. Look at Meta. We're going to pull up the monthly chart for this one. But initially, Meta came out at $42.05. That's where it opened up at. Weeks later, guess where it was trading at? Actually, months later. But it never really got a strong pop out of the gate. And this, trust me, I remember when this came out, it was a very hyped play. But it went all the way down into the teens, 1755 to be exact. And now it's trading at 576. Yeah, you could say, well, I got in at 42, but now it's trading at 576. Do you know the difference between getting into an IPO at 42 versus getting into it maybe around 20? I mean, you're talking about exponentially larger gains as a result of that. Uber, again, came out in 2019, rallied for a couple months, and then had the whole floor pulled right out from underneath it, going from an opening price of $42 all the way down to 13, gosh, lower than I thought. DASH, again, another one that just got creamed. We can talk about it. High as 256 plus, all the way down to 40. I don't have to stop there, guys. I got them for days. Snapchat, opened up at 24. It's trading at what, 870 now, and it went as low as like $5. So you're talking about some stocks losing 70, 80% of their value from the IPO. Look at Reddit. Guys, it was not easy sailing. And yes, it had a pretty good pop, but it opened up and it made a good run for a couple of days, going from 47 up to 75. Did it make 80? No, it made 74.90. And it comes all the way back down to 37. So it lost half of its value and it traded well below its IPO price. So especially if you're looking at this from a long-term investment, absolutely I would be waiting for this stock. Now, I can't tell you what to do, obviously, but I'm telling you from my personal experiences, IPOs are an absolute disaster. They're a train wreck to try to get into on the first day. Yes, it may still rally another day or two. Who knows? But it could also very easily come down 50% from where it's trading at, if not more. It could drop even 80%. And you have to ask yourself, are you comfortable with that? Are you willing to take those kinds of risks? Because most of the people will jump in it simply because they see it's trading up 700%. They feel like they missed out on something and they have to be part of that action. They're like, well, maybe it'll go up another couple 100%. They'll do that. And most of the time when they're doing it, they're going to get absolutely wrecked. I don't find people that are making their money off of the IPOs unless they're the ones that brought it to the market. If you enjoyed this video, I'd encourage you to like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments below, how's your luck been with trading IPOs? Are you trading NMAX? Have you traded some in the past that's just gone horribly wrong for you? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys, and God bless.